All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get right into the brilliant engineering tucked away inside a DC motor. We're going to break down exactly how it takes invisible electrical energy and turns it into powerful, real-world motion. So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to build this thing up from the ground floor, starting with the basic physics, then we'll look at all the key parts, and finally, we'll put it all together to see how the complete machine spins.
So here's the big question, right? How do you take something you can't even see, like electricity, and turn it into real physical movement? Well, the DC motor solves this beautifully, and the answer doesn't start with gears or mechanics, but with a totally invisible force.
Okay, so the whole secret, the entire operation of a motor, it all comes down to the interaction of magnetic fields. But not just any old magnet will work. To build a motor, you need a magnet that you can actually control. And this right here, this is the key that unlocks everything, electromagnetism. It basically means we can create a magnet whenever we want just by running an electric current through a wire. No magic rocks from the earth needed. And you've got to understand, this difference is everything. You know, a regular fridge magnet, it's just on. You can't change its strength or flip its poles. But an electromagnet? Oh man, that's where the control comes in. We can turn it on and off, crank it up or down, and even reverse its polarity just by changing the current. That control is exactly what a motor needs.
And get this, there's even a simple trick to figure out which way that magnetic field is going to go. It's called the right-hand thumb rule. You just point your thumb in the same direction as the current in the wire, and the way your fingers curl, that shows you the direction of the magnetic field. It's crucial for controlling the force later.
Okay, so we've got this invisible force, but how do we steer it? That's where these ferromagnetic materials, like iron, come in. They act like superhighways for magnetism, gathering up those field lines and guiding them exactly where they need to go, inside the motor. All right, so we've got our controllable magnetic force. Now let's see how it's used in the first major part of the motor. We're talking about the stationary body, the stage for all the action, the stator. So the stator, its job is super simple but absolutely crucial. It doesn't move at all. Just think of it like the arena or the stadium. It's just there to set up a powerful, constant magnetic field that all the moving parts are going to interact with.
And it's not just one giant magnet either. It's way smarter than that. You've got this outer frame, the yoke, holding it all together, and inside you have these poles with copper coils wrapped around them. When you power them up, they're set up as north-south, north-south, creating this perfect, continuous magnetic field for things to happen in.
Now, you'd think for these poles you'd want just a big, solid chunk of iron, right? The strongest thing you can get. But nope, the real engineering genius here is hidden in how they're actually built. So check this out. Instead of a solid block, the poles are a stack of super thin, insulated steel sheets. And this isn't about making it stronger. It's an incredibly clever trick to stop something called eddy currents. You can think of these as tiny, useless whirlpools of electricity that just create heat and waste energy. By stacking these thin sheets, you basically break up those whirlpools before they can even form. It makes the motor way, way more efficient. All right, we've got our static magnetic stage, the stator. It's time to bring on the star of the show, the part that actually moves and gets the work done. Meet the rotor. This is where the real magic happens. The rotor, which is also called the armature, is basically another set of electromagnets. So when we power it up, it creates its own magnetic field. And it's the pushing and pulling between the stator's field and the rotor's field that creates motion. That's the dance.
And hey, look familiar? The rotor core is also made from laminated steel, for the exact same reason we saw in the stator, to kill those wasteful eddy currents and boost efficiency. It's got slots to hold the copper coils, and in bigger motors, you'll even find little ventilation ducts to keep things cool.
Okay, so we have two magnetic fields interacting, but how does that actually create a push? Well, there's a fundamental rule in physics that explains it perfectly. Fleming's left-hand rule. It tells you exactly which way the force is going to go. So let's try this together. Grab your left hand. Your forefinger, point that in the direction of the stator's magnetic field. Now your middle finger, point that in the direction the current is flowing through the rotor's wires. And your thumb, boom, your thumb points exactly in the direction of the force, the push that's going to make that rotor spin. Okay, so let's recap. We've got the components, we've got the physics, we've got a static field from the stator, a dynamic field from the rotor, and a rule that tells us how they create a push. But there's one huge problem we haven't solved yet. I mean, really think about this for a second.
How do you get power to a part that's spinning like crazy? And more importantly, if the current in that spinning coil always went the same way, the force would push it halfway around and then just pull it right back. The rotor would just wiggle back and forth. That's useless. We need a way to keep it pushing in the same direction.
And the solution to this problem is, well, it's arguably the most ingenious part of the entire DC motor. A beautifully simple mechanical fix for a really tricky electrical problem.
Meet the commutator. It's this ring of copper segments, split apart and insulated right at the end of the rotor shaft. It's brilliant because it does two critical jobs at once. First, it makes physical contact with stationary brushes to get power to the spinning coils. But second, and this is the real genius, it's a mechanical switch. Every single time the rotor does a half turn, the brushes cross the gap and it reverses the direction of the current in the coils. This means the magnetic push is always happening in the same rotational direction. It's what turns that back and forth wiggle into smooth, continuous spinning.
And these brushes? They're the last piece of the puzzle. They're just simple, stationary blocks, usually made of carbon, that are spring-loaded to press against that spinning commutator. They are the bridge, feeding the electricity from the outside world into the spinning heart of the motor.
And there you have it. That is how you turn electricity into motion. The stator creates the magnetic stage. The rotor brings its own magnetic field to push against it. And the whole thing is kept spinning smoothly in one direction by that brilliant little mechanical switch, the commutator. The principles we just walked through, they're over a century old, but they are still the beating heart of countless devices that shape our world today.